Hello, everyone. I'm Nigel MacLean, and it's a nice night out. And I got the campfire going. This is my backyard. You want to see my backyard? It's a nice campfire I got going on back there. It's a nice night, as you can see. So first of all, I want to get into in this video. I want to get into simulation theory. For the ones who don't know, simulation theory is basically a theory that is saying that your life is a simulation. Everything, your whole life is a simulation. That's what life is, a simulation. So there's a few ways that we could think about this and go on about this. So imagine this. Your life is a simulation, even since birth. Everything that you do is simulated. Imagine our society and our species gets extremely intelligent, and we figure out ways to become healthier and able to live longer. And over time, we as the earth revolves around the sun again and again and again and again, and we get better at everything, and then we figure out a way how we can live longer, and we can make simulations. We kind of lose the core value in things over time as things get so advanced and we don't really have to do anything. So the best way to teach people core values and morals and just pure understanding and good experience in life would be to, have simulations. Life could get pretty boring after living past 100 years, 200 years, 300 years. Life could get very boring. So, the society come up with a simulation. You can learn a lot of things. You can live many lives. And the crazy thing about simulation theory, or just this idea altogether, is imagine if you were in this society that is super advanced. Like I said, they've figured a lot out, and we basically figured out a way to hook up our brain, which is just a bunch of electrical signals and neurons firing off. We figure out a way how to, the same way a dream is made, we create a artificial reality that's connected to all of our senses. And you could put your brain at an infancy state. You could black it out, and you could start out as a newborn baby, and then slowly over time, or whatever you want to call it, programming moments, just implementing the whole scenario, the whole video, the whole simulation, the whole thing. You could start it out in a sequence, and within the simulation, endless possibilities, infinite possibilities. Everything could be there, just like it would be in so-called real life. But here's the thing. Just like a simulation, how would you know that you were in a simulation? How would you know? It would be so real, and the only way out would be to die. So, either way, you're gonna be out. So it's the only way out. You got one way in, which is birth, and then one way out is to die. And while you're in the simulation, you really can't figure out if you're in a simulation. That's the whole deal, because it's so real. It's made in a way where you're not supposed to figure out if it's a simulation, or maybe you are, and then enjoy it while you're here. I guess that's a way that you could look at it. People don't want to. A lot of people would want to. They wouldn't try to fathom something like that. But So also the crazy thing is, if the simulation was so good, just like real life, you could make a simulation within the simulation. You could even be in this life and create a simulation, and There's so many different ways you could go about it, but I always like this one that I've thought of is it's basically us going back and learning things and watching things re-unfold again until we get to our sophisticated point. It's maybe a way for us to go back and learn things and realize, like, okay, yeah, this is what we used to be like, and we need to learn here, and learn some core values and some morals there, and how to appreciate this, how to appreciate that, because, you literally have everything. There's no such thing as sickness anymore. You live longer. You're advanced in every way with technology. You can't really get any more advanced. You're traveling the planets, you're colonizing planets. So you would probably lose, I don't know, like you would lose like the sight of things after a while. Maybe. Probably would. So you'd have to do like, a few simulations of just being birthed and having life experience in these simulations and go through these things to check and see if, to see if you're still real, or just to, I guess, it'd be a crazy civilization to think about. You could create a simulation, what Elon Musk is doing, the Neuralink. You could have something like that, while you're in an isolation tank, and kind of like the Matrix, kind of like that, where you're in an isolation tank because it removes you from all your senses. So then you would be in a neutral state, and all there would be is just consciousness. Because when you're in an isolation tank, there's 400 to 600 pounds of salt, something like that, in water, so it's very buoyant, so you float on the water. And the water and the air is the same temperature as your body, so you can't feel temperature difference, or even, you won't even remember that you're even in water. And the air is like pure oxygen, so you're getting lots of good oxygen to the head, and it's completely black. There's no noise, so it's as if you're suspending in just pure consciousness. All your senses have been at a neutral mute. That would be a perfect time to put in the simulation. That'd be a perfect time. So you could have something like what Elon Musk has, like a Neuralink. You could be laying there in a simulation tank and then get plugged in. And the crazy thing about that is, if you were in a simulation, it was as good as real life, and it was indistinguishable. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell which one is which. Then you could go into another simulation within the simulation and do that over and over and over again, just like the mirror effect, where you take two mirrors, or if you take a webcam and face it towards your computer screen, you'll see like an infinite array spiraling, down, like just like the Fibonacci sequence. It's like you can see it mirroring and mirrors, and you can see it, the infinity mirroring within like the webcam on the computer screen, the way that it does that spiral, that infinite loop, the whoosh, so then that also gets to the question, well, what even is consciousness? Where does it come from? Maybe it's a one central mind, but also many, which makes us individuals that make up the universe. So the universe is the one mind, and as individual little individual universe perceivers, like little cameras with a fleshy memory bank, like we're like little recording machines taking in information, going around space. It's like many little entities, kind of like all the neurons and all the receptors in your brain, how they're individual cells, individual neurons, but together as one, as a whole, it makes up as like the person. Well, it's kind of like that with the universe. All the living beings within the universe, and all the stars and all the planets and everything, it makes up the thing that we call the universe. It's many within a whole, and a whole many within a whole. And is small, it goes down like that on a small scale, and it goes like that on a big scale. And it's infinite. That's the beauty. But that's the beauty of life and the universe. Everything is just infinite. But to think, what even is life? Like, what is life? What is when you look in the mirror and you look at yourself? and you see you, the I, past the ego and all that, before all your beliefs and perceptions and ideologies, and before everything, as if you have a fresh mind of a child. You look at yourself and you look at consciousness and you think, well, what is this? What is this body that's made up of base elements that are the same as the sun? What is this body that I'm inhabiting, that I grew into out of where? The one mind, the one consciousness. So I think people get so baffled, and naturally they go towards something like religion, because they don't know what else to do, they don't know what else to think. So it's so easy to just go to a preconceived ideology or a preset thing, so they don't have to do any work. They just open up the book or listen to the next guy. We do it like this, the Allah Akbid hula, or like Hindu-y or Christian, or Catholic, whatever, all that stuff. It doesn't matter. I think people just, they get baffled within these questions. And then so also, like, you look at the way, I mean, things are kind of crazy right now, and it's like, well, geez, if I were to go back into a simulation, if I was in a super advanced society, super advanced culture, us way in the future, who are way more advanced, if I were to do that, I would want to come back in a time like now, because it's a very interesting, weird time. It's very weird. It's like watching things change and unveil. It's like watching where things went wrong or where things went good. This would be a good time to come back and having a simulation experience in. So it makes you wonder. Just thinking about that, and scientists have taken this very seriously. Not many people, I don't know, maybe they do nowadays, but it just seems like not many people think about this type of thing. It's very interesting if you think about it. Just to think that you think that you know everything, and you think that you know your life, you know it good enough to have a good idea of what's going on, but little did you know this whole time your whole life is just a simulation. That would freak people, that would freak them out. It's like watching Neo on the first Matrix. When he wakes up, he freaks out. This can't be real. Is this a simulation? I don't know if this is real. Oh my god. Some people probably have like an aneurysm and die from knowing, like, being revealed too much truth at once. That seems like the reason why we have so many issues today with so much stuff that's going on. It's like people are, but anyways, simulation theory. I'm trying to think, is there different ways to go about it? I guess you could be maybe consciousness harvest in some weird biogenetic electromagnetic way in some supercomputer, and you could be stuck on an infinite loop of being reborn and born and living these lives as programs, and you could have like infinite amounts of them for infinite amount of time, just scaling through this supercomputer that's harvesting consciousness. And it's kind of matrixy, but not really, That's another way you could look at it, like almost like a weird holographic digital copy, where your mind is kind of like a camera, and the internet, like the way to look at it is like your eyes and your mind would be like a camera, and then your broadcasting would be to the internet, or would be like the main hub computer, the main consciousness, or whatever. And then once again, when you get on that type of topic, that's why people always bring up stuff like God or whatever, because it's like, you could call it many different things, but that oneness, that unity, that like all one, it makes you wonder, is there a reality, or is there stuff? It's like the stuff or the universe, everything that's there, it can only be there with an observer. Without an observer, there's nothing to observe. you know? It's just never-ending whatever is out there, just with nobody around to see it. Would it really be there then? We kind of make up, as all conscious beings, all animals, all everything, we make up the reality around us. If you were to look at it like people are a bunch of little molecules, like a bunch of little marbles, if you were to look at it from that perspective, like how we are atoms or molecules, and we're all stacked together, and we're all holding consciousness. But if you were to look at it from that level, you would just see a soup and shapes of molecules all floating around and moving around. When you could see it like that, you realize what it really is. When you think about consciousness, and you think about the molecules and all the you look at everything, and it's almost as if there is this consciousness everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere in space. It's not physical. You can't see it. You can't touch it. You can only be it. You can only experience it. And with these molecules, we capture it. We capture it within this advanced interconnected mechanism, and then we move around in the consciousness with the body, moving around in the space with this body that we've capsulated the consciousness with, and we're just kind of we're swimming around in the soup and seeing all the edges and all the textures to everything. But when you take a microscope and you go down, it's just a bunch of atoms and molecules. But with the perspective and when you see the outer edges of things and you see objects, and then you become completely consumed within the illusion of reality. You could look at it like that rather than it being like a simulation. Even if you're to look at it like that, it's still pretty wild. It's still, it's like a dream. You don't know it's a dream until you wake up, and then you go, oh, it was a dream. Well, even if it's a dream, okay, it's like, what is it? Like, what is that? What is a dream? Don't just put it off. It's kind of thinking like people are so destined to find life on Mars, even if it's a little bug and swimming around in the water. Oh, they just want to find it. They want to find it on Pluto. They want to find it out there just so they know. They just want to know. But here's my question. Okay, once you figure it out, let's say you did. Let's say we found it tomorrow. Then what? Then what? Okay, now you know that life is out there. Not just on this planet, it's on Mars too, it's on the moon, it's on this, it's on that. Okay, now what? It's an odd way to think. It's almost like a very elementary way to think, isn't it? So you get to think. Now what? Now what? Rather than focusing on trying to do those things, we should be focusing on maybe moving in more of an advanced way as a species, But maybe that's just part of the simulation. But, you could, like I was saying, you could think about it as consciousness. Consciousness is everywhere in the universe, and all these molecules are stacked together in a particular way. And then, boom, you can harness the consciousness. And now you can move around the consciousness, and you can look at all the objects and all the stuff. And, and it's like, oh, okay, we as all these conscious beings are one consciousness, but many. And we all make up this world around us of oh, there's this, there's that, there's Jim, there's Bob. And we make up this whole entire, soup. It's like one big movie. One big simulation reality movie picture of infinite frames all over the place. And maybe you and I are the same being as one, and this is one big dream or one big creation that we've created. And we experience individual lives one at a time, over and over and over again in infinity, and that's what life is. Because if you think, even if you die, You know, there isn't going to be never-ending blackness or heaven or hell. There's just going to be a reoccurrence of something else. It's just going to be, you know, you're going to be born again, and you're just, because it would be impossible for there to not be an experience. Look at how many beings there are, how many creatures, and trillions of bugs, and you know, all these things are living conscious beings, and it's going on. They're dying and being reborn and dying and reborn. It's like this never-ending infinite cycle. So yeah, of course there's going to be experience, but just because it's not going to be you or the same one that you know of right now, it doesn't mean you're not going to be. You'd be something else. You'd be this, or you'd be another human. It's like it's one but many. Okay, and right now, that's why I always say, like, who is you? Who is I? Rather than your ego and all that. For right now, this is the body and the mind that you encapsulate. And then you're going to go on to other things when you die. No one wants to live forever. Even if you live 1,000 years, are you going to want to stick around? Watching things live and die, like, maybe I should go on with the cycle. Like, would you want to live forever? Well, would you want to be stuck in a simulation forever? Well, you know, think about that. Would you want to be stuck in a simulation forever? If you could do whatever you want. Eventually you're going to get bored. But those are my thoughts on simulation theory for now. I hope you enjoy everything that I just said. I really do. And I hope you enjoyed my nice fire in my backyard. It's made to look real, but it's not. It's part of the simulation. Yeah, those are real trees. No, they're not real trees. See, I can touch them. It's a simulation, man. It's a simulation. I'm just kidding. Okay. Peace out, y'all.